Okay, for this next round, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to work this, but let's see. Let's go ahead and put all of this stuff into a group. So putting everything but this paint layer. So I'm going to do Control G. And actually, let's name this. We should have good naming conventions. We'll call this Paint 1, capital LYR. And then we'll call this Base 2, underscore capital LYR. Okay. And so there we go. I'm going to Alt drag this base layer up, and I'm going to do Control E to flatten. Okay. And so what I want to do here is I want to come over here to this polygon lasso tool, and let's try to grab a section like this. Let's just zoom in here. Actually, I guess we don't need to worry about that too much because that's already kind of an alpha. We'll get like right along there. We don't want to get too low because there's like trees and stuff there. And let's figure out where do we want to get that to. Let's do something like this. We can always delete stuff. Okay, so with that little selection there, I'm going to do Control C and Control V as in Victor. And now I have that actually as a layer. So if I turn some of that off, you can see what I've got there. Okay, so let's, with all that on, I'm going to take this layer up top of everything, and now I'm just going to pull it straight down to something like that. So now if I turn that on and off, we can see we've essentially replaced that. Now some of our perspectives are going to be off a little bit, so we might want to adjust for that. So it might not be a bad idea to draw a few perspective lines. Okay, so I have this in here, and it actually doesn't look too terrible, but I want to match the perspective maybe just a little bit better. So I went ahead and created some vanishing point lines just to kind of give me kind of the flow across this little section. And I found that just by tracking some features from different elements to the vanishing point. And so that's how I found that. Now, you did that by using the line tool. The thing is, you have to use, like, pixels are grayed out, so you have to use shape. You want the fill turned off. I chose under RGB, like that little red color, and then I put a little pixel width, and then I click this line, and that should get your line tool working for you in newer versions of Photoshop. So from here, I want to go ahead and use that to help me get this facing kind of in the right direction. So I'm going to look at this real quick. So I'm going to come back to my lasso tool, and I'm going to cut just this little section of face, and then maybe do something like that. And I'm going to do, with that selected, I'm going to do Control, Shift, and J, and that's going to separate that piece out. And so then I'm going to Control click on that piece, and I'm going to do Control T, and I just want to make sure that these bricks feel like they're flowing. So I'm going to hold, oops, got the wrong layer selected there. Come up here to layer 3 and now do Control T. And I'm going to hold Control down, and I can just kind of shift that up and over a little bit just to make sure that that's going the right direction. Then I'll hold Control and pull that down. And maybe Control and pull that up. Okay, and then I'll hit Enter, and that looks like it's flowing okay. I might do Control T one more time just to, oops, pull this out a little bit. Still eyeballing all that and hit enter. Okay. Do Control D to get that deselected, and now that's been oriented a little bit better to match like the original bricks. So I'm going to go ahead and turn those off real quick. I am going to use a non-destructive workflow because I don't want to like lose detail. So with this layer selected, I'm going to turn on my mask, and I'm going to alt middle mouse in here, and with my brush tool, I'm going to get make sure that I've got plaque selected, and I'm just going to paint some of those little sky areas because I can see like there was like some little sky stuff just off to the side here. Okay. We'll paint some of that out. Because my opacity is not at 100%, I'm gonna have to paint over some of those areas a couple times to remove the sections that I don't want. Okay. So I think that's looking pretty good, and it kind of removed some of that. If we zoom in here, kind of just covered up some of that tree area. Okay, I'm going to make another paint layer, so I'm going to click that layer, double click this, and we'll call this paint 2 underscore capital LYR, and then I'm going to use my clone stamp, and then I'm just going to clone stamp some of this down. And so actually some of the perspectives may be getting off in this area, and you can spend some time just to make sure like you cut like sections out and kind of orient it, but I'm not gonna get that in detail to it at the moment because I don't want this lesson to go on indefinitely. We're just gonna get it kind of ballpark. Okay. Okay, it's coming along. And then I'm going to also clone some of this. So we're going to want to remove some of the tree on this front face. And the tree's not everywhere, so I'm not going to completely destroy everything. I'm just going to go and just try to remove sections that I see that tree most definitely in. So there's definitely some limbs right there. Okay. And then I can see some trees here, and so I'm just going to finish clone stamping some of this stuff out, and we'll pick it back up in a sec.